you want to introduce yourself?
Hong Bao Long, but you can call me Kellen.
Right? So, me and Kellen, we y'all not gonna see it just yet. I'm working on it, but we had a seminar on the Junction Bridge at River Market. That was so interesting. I think the most interesting part is all those people that crossed us. So
Don't worry, we're letting y'all out.
you know what I forgot? There was like 75 sheets pointing to this school, and I was working with everybody. So it's gonna be okay. It is gonna be just fine. So one of the parts that we did was about Bong Sao. And he became an honorary Chun Q guy, that thing, because it was a Chun Q seminar, and a lot of times I don't hold back. I want people to see the future, or I want to bring the apple from the top of the tree down, right? So one of the most important parts of this procedure, of this technique, was the idea of using Tai-yun, going like this, using Bong. So Tai-yun means hacking elbow, okay? Bong Sao is a crane's wing. It's a crane's arm wing. That's what we're doing it for. You have the higher one, you have the lower one. In this case, I wanted to do the high one. Most of the times, the high one is going to be used the most if someone was trying to punch, attack. Sometimes even in case kicking. I didn't even tell that on the bridge. I didn't even make everybody do that. But there's a point where if someone has a high kick,
Right.
you can actually use Quan Sao, this motion, and trap a kick. Is actually one of the most prominent techniques a lot of times when you talk about Wing Chun in movies. So yeah, we'll get to that sometime. I'm gonna have to do a lot of back bends. I'm just like, ooh, my legs. Anyway, so the whole point is, normally Quan Sao works together. They'll work together same time. That's why when you see Chun Q, what do? They'll have it set here, and then they'll go. You'll see there's a unity of a stopping point together, right? So you can use Wu, you can use time. Doesn't matter in that case. The purpose is, when he does this kind of technique, or whatever, Bong is actually the more prevalent skill in this case. Why? Because if you was to do true Bong Sao from Sunum Dao, you're actually doing it like this. You're turning the key. It's like you're turning a doorknob. It's gonna go more outward, right? You'll see people that'll just flick it up and whatever, and I do that too. Sometimes I'll do that. I like to feel like different energies of different Bong Saos and try different things, especially if a student has problems. Like my student Clayton, he has problems with his clavicle bones because he had an injury from a car incident. So for a long time, we had to practice different sets of Bong Saos that would cater to him. And then I even had a student before that from Louisiana. He didn't have any clavicle bones. It was a prosthetic. So his body can go like this and really throw a Bong Sao in. Like if he did a low Bong Sao, he could really throw it in almost like this because there was no clavicle to stop it, right? So there's, Wing Chun works for modifying for different people so they can be able to use this system, right? The only people I would never know that could never really use this system is if you're just truly paraplegic, neck down, you had no use. That's about it. And you can still do dang gurk like a stomp to someone's foot because you'll take your wheelchair and roll over their foot. So Please understand that. Like, I am sympathetic to that. All right. So this Bong is covering my arm. This Wusao here is protecting him. So I'm gonna show this right there. I'm gonna turn him around a little bit, and I'm gonna go back to here. I want y'all to understand why Bong Sao has to be that lead arm, especially, right? Think of this hand like the Navy, the Marines, right? They're on the boat. They're out there defending in the seas, or they're gonna go from that boat, like the Marines, and they're gonna go enter the land from that boat to do night missions. Think about that for a moment. So they defend outer territory of land. Your body is land. So right here is like domestic. You have police, you may have state troopers, you have the Coast Guard, you have Homeland Security right here. If something was to happen to this, that hand is now in control. Does that make sense? So let's say if I was to take this hand here, grab and throw it down, this hand better come out, and there you go. So now if I was to tell him to stay put, you have Quan Sao. You see how tricky that is? Mm-hmm. So it's a natural thing that if I'm gonna take one arm down, something better happen with this. I don't care if it's Quan Sao, I don't care if it's a punch, whatever it needs to be. And even if it is a punch and he's doing Quan Sao in this case, guess what? He's still doing Quan Sao even though it's a punch. It's the Quan Sao paradigm, right? Even though it'll be Bong Da. Does that make sense? So he has that technique. Now, because of that, I'm attacking here, right? Same side. He has that Bong Sao rolled, right? And then yeah, there we go. Perfect. Right? Right here. This is how it would look. Right? In that case. Now, I want you to take the idea of Tai-yun. Tai-yun is going to use an elbow and forearm to deal with the opponent. So from this point, he can turn his body that way, and that arm can actually attack. It doesn't seem like it because it's a Sao hand, but it's plausible. It can work. They've already found out it can work. Y'all just ain't seen the video yet. So, but it can work, and you can damage a person's arms, right? I'm not saying you can damage them perfect. I'm not saying y'all have enough gall to damage, because it does take a certain mindset. You need to have a mindset of, I need to survive. My life is more important than yours. You just have to have that mindset. You don't know what's going on in this earth and in this world where you just need to have that understanding. That's what martial arts is. It's a preservation of such. So if he is guarding my arm and I have this, he has an opportunity to take that and lock. That controls. If I go this way, he'll know it. If I go that way, he'll know it. If I move any kind of way, he knows it. Now, having a straight arm like this, as he shifts, he's aiming right for elbow alignment just by turning. So that's the practice of it. That's just the sheer practice of it. So I'm gonna have him go through that a couple of times. I want you guys to see it. We're gonna switch sides because I really need y'all to get this, right? Because The next part is, and I can take it, he's gonna actually pop me one. That's the goal, right? So he has his hands here. I'm punching, he rolls it, he locks, turns. There, right there. And imagine this, for example, as well. That lock with this, one comes in, the other one comes out, that's the break. Even if I don't clang into him with the forearm and elbow part and just go, then you can still be like here and just go and just throw your body and shake into it and jar the arm. It is either way, I'm disabling the arm. I don't want it to work around me.
Right.
That's the goal. So here, three. Yeah.
Wow, there you go. So if there's a little bit of height difference, so with a slight step in,
You can even do that. Yes.
in case arm different. You got longer arms than I do, so for me, probably have to step in a little bit maybe, or pull in.
There you go. See, that's why I bet like Big K. K got it. That lopsided doesn't mean you can't pull in as you do the move. So it doesn't mean that. That's great because that's thinking on a Sunum Dao level. That is perfect.
Balance, we keep ours, they lose theirs.
All of that. So in Sunum Dao, what people haven't figured out is this. First, just because you do this and you roll it into Bong, it never said that you couldn't do this. It just waited for you to go meet Chun Q. So then you go back, Chun Q tells you, hey, go back to Sunum Dao and try this little bit out. And now what are you doing? You may do something like, it's now Sunum Dao looks a little different. It's like bland eggs, but you add a little pepper into it now. That's that part, and you may not go into your school, the seafood school, and share that. You don't have to do that, but you're working at your house, and now you. And you may even practice it like that. You may already just go for the tut right there and just to play around with it. I play around with Sunum Dao so many times it's ridiculous. Because I like to understand different things.
I haven't even started doing that yet. I'm still in Sunum Dao myself, so I'm still doing everything the one-handed.
Right.
And when I play with Chun Q, it's just me like playing, like the seminar, I'm just kind of honorary member of learning.
Right. So, and that's
cool.
the whole thing. Yeah, the system is meant to sometimes have your points where you freestyle it. That's where you hear the stories about It Man freestyling Wooden Dummy, and now all of a sudden you gotta be like, what part is this part again? The Wing Chun system is meant to do that because you wanna always be free to do whatever you need to do if something was to happen. Fair enough? At the same time, you're still using that old structured skill so you understand how the book sets it.
Right.
So when you do the regular forms, it's the book. When you do the freestyle, you are creating or modifying your own way of being the book.
Wing Chun is giving you the tools for your tool chest. It's up to you to actually get those out of the tool chest to apply them where you need them.
Right, because I'm not going to use a hammer on a screw. Even though some of us men have done it.
Oh, absolutely.
I've done it way back, yeah. It's like, oh, why didn't work? It messed up my whole wall. So, I'm gonna have him do it the other side.
All right.
Right? And mind you, because he's using This is his right hand here. I'm parallel to him, which just happens to be my left hand. Right? So as I have the hand, I'll roll the punch through. He's turning it into Bong, because that's going to be the primary technique. There goes the Wu. It's going to meet towards it, grab. And then there goes the shift, and there goes the break. That shift is the same thing as a step, which is why a lot of times I don't even mention the step, because they're actually the same thing. And I'll have to do a video later on why that is, and really break it out. I don't care if it's with Will, Clayton, whoever I gotta do that with. I'm gonna make that a good point to do that. And it's like, oh, that's why Wing Chun people just don't step like that. Every other martial art, they'll say you have to step. Right. In our system, we'll be like, that is our step.
Heck, even at the bridge, you showed us that just even one shift.
So when y'all see the video soon, y'all gonna see even that the front foot, if you're more like this, if you have more of this stance, you'll notice that the front foot can just shift for you. You don't have to shift both feet. There's no law saying that. You just gotta understand it's a shift, point blank. So he's here. He feels my energy rolling. He rolls into that Bong. He's trapping. There goes my arm. This is not a light move. A lot of people in any martial art, they'll look at that and say, ha ha ha, what's that all about? This is about disrupting, okay? You have to understand that. See, in Wing Chun, there was only two definitions of Chun Kyu. Only two. You either seek the bridge. Seeking the bridge is easy as, put your finger on me. Okay, he just made a bridge. He had to find the bridge, make it happen. Then the second is, since he got to do a little Dan Shi style, if I push my palm forward, he opens that hand up into jumps out. He has sunk or sinking the bridge. Hampton Hong says, hey, there's a third. And you'd be like, wait, what? And when I tell other Wing Chun people, they'll be like, no, there's not. And I say, no. Your system doesn't. Mine does. It's destroy the bridge. Now I'm gonna tell you how that happened. I'm gonna tell you the secret of how that happens. I have never publicized this ever on video. Here's the secret. Right around the time I was about to join Taekwondo, I've asked my mom if I can join Taekwondo. I wasn't going to fully do it unless I asked my uncle, because my uncle was my master. I had finished everything he trained with me, mind you, so I could have just done it. But out of respect, I asked my uncle. I put my nose in between an anthill and a pile of doo-doo. Dog doo-doo, I am not joking. It rained that day and everything, so the dry doo-doo had a hint of freshness, okay? And the first thing I asked is, can I teach outsiders of my family? That was the court first. I wanted to teach outsiders. That means if I hadn't done that, I would have never met you. I'd just be sitting here with all this martial arts and do absolutely nothing. I would have not met Will or anybody. They had to be family members inside of the Hampton family or connected to it by way of bloodline. That was a law. I wanted to break that law so bad. My uncle Oscar even wanted that law broken. When I asked him 3 times, he allowed me to break it. That was the first. The second was me asking about Taekwondo. And you know what he told me? He said, I'm glad you asked something like that. Said, there's a law I forgot to tell you. He said, you go observe a martial art, you look at it, see it for what it is. Don't look at it one day and think you got it, but you look at it and see it for what it is. Second, you involve yourself in the martial art, which means you join it, you do what it is, you don't inject another martial art into it, don't do none of that. Respect it, honor it for what it is.
Right.
It's a martial art, we should all respect every martial art. Heard what I just said. Every martial art, no matter if you like it or not, you're in it, so give it this due respect and time.
I have to insert a joke. Yes, that even means systema.
Oh wow, I like Systema.
I'm not a fan, but
Oh man. Okay,
continue.
just like Will is not a fan of MMA, but then I had 3 years in MMA, so it's kind of like, well, I can't make him drink water. He's a horse. I can leave him in water. I can't make him drink. You know,
Exactly.
It's that thing.
We all have our various things we respect and like. So
Right.
Exactly. So that was number 2 was the respect.
And then number 3, if anyone of that martial arts dares to disrespect you enough to challenge you, destroy the martial art. That was Hampton bloodline code.
Okay.
When I saw Hampton Hong, I'm really talking about that bloodline code.
Mhm.
It's like, don't trust your own brothers. You don't know what they're gonna do. You gotta have a discernment. It's like, okay, you my brother, cool. Don't think they won't turn their back. Nothing. Cause you have to remember they grew up in Jim Crow and Civil Rights era.
Right.
Post-slavery, all that. This whole history starts at 1895. That ain't too long from the Civil War.
Right.
So you have to kind of think for a moment. So when you think about it now, it makes sense. When my teacher Sifu Courtney, he was in Vietnam twice and his homie turned on him. To this day, if he closed his right or left hand? I think it's his left hand. If he closes his left hand into a fist, his pinky can't close.
Oh dang.
Because the dude used a martial art move, chopped his hand with his hand, the pinky fell off into the ground. His hand had to be sewn back on. The technique was so crisp, the finger got chopped off by a human hand. No joke. And if I ever can have a video sit down with him and he allows it, I'll have him tell you the story and I'll have him close his hand.
I'd love to see that.
That boy.
You know how much I wanted to hear some stories from Sifu Courtney.
Sifu Courtney is legendary. I mean, this dude, he's way better now than he was then. And the only difference is he gave up that martial life like a lot of religious people will for the greater good of being in his faith.
Right.
Because he's been a Christian man. It's better to help people, love people, honor people, you know, and try to get them and love on them. You know, not like be pushy, but just love on them and show them that love, you know, than to fist. Same way for my Uncle Oscar. I'm giving this to you because I'd rather be a man of the faith and not a man of violence.
Right.
That's history. History. So, one more time, I'm glad we went on that tangent. I need y'all to know what y'all dealing with. You know, right? So, I roll that punch. He's just turning it in. He knows it's still coming. He's grabbing. That shift creates that break. Now, I want y'all to see it. That means my friend Kelly, my brother, even though I'm his teacher, my brother in all this, he has full authority. I want him to do the move. Now, that takes a lot, because a lot of you people that are calling yourselves seafoods and teachers and masters, y'all don't take a punch worth nothing, and then you cry about it when you do. If you're not ready to be a seafood, don't go where I'm going. Don't walk my walk. That's just the point. All the Chinese martial arts will be like, if I can't take a punch, you don't need to call me seafood. That's what the old saying was. That's not a Hampton Hong thing. That's all of us Chinese guys. Yes, I'm Chinese because I'm black. I'm just like, yes, all of us Chinese guys. Once you do Chinese Kung Fu, you're Chinese. Especially if you know what it's all about. Yeah, you're in there. They love us over there. It's like, oh, you do Chinese Kung Fu? Excellent. I cook for you. Yeah, I've had those stories too. So we're going to get up closer now because I want people to see it.
Okay.
So he has his hand out here, right? Now from this point, I'm going to move in. Now, I don't want him to shift just yet, but I do want him to have this, and then he's going to slide that bong saw more in because then his elbow's right there ready. Right. I got my arm straightened out, and what he's going to do is when he shifts, he goes with that arm, it's going to pop. Go. You're almost there. You want Chun, yeah. It's almost. It's almost.
Of course, the elbow being one of the strongest structures too, so.
And you can even try to turn it into the arm. Right? Turn the elbow. Yeah, that.
Okay.
It's almost there.
Almost.
I feel the energy there. You're getting something. You're getting something. He's right there. He's right there. I'm not going to do it towards him. That's called respect. Like, they had enough. And then he had to deal with me. And y'all see that clip here soon. And I may just put this clip in there. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But the whole goal is you basically got a bong saw. It works like an elbow like here, but it's already there. So you just really jerking the move, right?
Hyperextending.
So I'm going to show it on the other side. Yeah, I'm pulling this back here while I'm pulling this in like that. It is a very damaging move. Like I said, I don't care what martial art you do. I respect all martial arts, but please understand, if I had to do it all over again, and I was doing MMA just to rack up some numbers, whatever we do in MMA these days, because I don't catch up. I don't keep up with none of it. I really don't. Once I retired out of it, I retired, right? But, and I hate when people say, hey, did you see that fight on UFC? No, I didn't. I'm too busy watching Seth Rollins and all of them on WWE, okay? I'm watching my wrestling. I don't have the other channels for AEW, but hey, I watch my clips on YouTube. I'm cool. But the whole point is, no matter what martial art you do, if I was to go back and do this all over again, everybody would have got jammed up. And I didn't do this move, which I knew way back then, was because it was out of respect for my opponent. They needed to fight the next guy that night.
Right.
On any given night when we would do all this work together, I would have fought at least anywhere from 8 to 12 people a night.
Right.
Every night. We did this whole King of the Mountain thing. We'll beat each other. I was usually King of the Mountain every single time in the middle of that ring. Because I knew what I was doing, right? So anyway, if you have any questions about this technique, one thing is, you're going to see that seminar video. It's like a bunch of clips of us doing what we was doing. Watch that first, and then after that, y'all can ask me questions, and I'll be glad to answer anything. Is there any questions?
Again, I could see it going back to, having that little height there. I feel like the pulling down would have given me a bit of an advantage too.
Try it. Yeah. Yeah. So right
You
here,
want to try the other arm since we already worked that one?
just depends. Yeah. See, so
So,
actually,
oh yeah, it was this. We did that arm.
this. So I got the punch here.
Mhm.
It's rolling. You got that. Pull it to where you need it.
There's a little bit of difference there.
There is a little bit of difference.
So,
Oh, there it goes. I feel a tingle. I feel a tingle and a jingle. But yes, you now remember this, and I'm gonna leave with this. Daniel Santos said it best. He said, when you're learning, when he was talking about Jeet Kune Do, what fits for me may not necessarily fit for you. It's like a jacket. You're designing it based on your body type, how you do things. So you have to kind of make things work to fit the jacket.
mm-hmm.
And I'm paraphrasing this, but it's the same thing. There are things that he's gonna have to do with me because I got such a long reach. I got a boxer's reach. Like,
Yeah.
like literally, if we was just fighting and this was rock'em sock'em robots for real, I would have the longer reach. I have a better chance. Now, that's not saying he doesn't have an opportunity to have that same chance. Mind you, Ip Man had a lot of fights, and I'm not talking about Ip Man Part 2. That was falsified. The real fight was in his school. He's had foreign boxers come to his school, challenge him, and he beat them all with kicks. Or he beat them all with his hands, but he just maneuvered a certain way.
And not just it, man. Wong Chun was known to have fought like a Russian boxer, I believe it was.
Yeah.
That was much bigger than he was.
Right. So you have to just understand different things work. But the more he learns, he'll be more in the element because he's the smaller man in this case. And martial arts is more meant for the smaller man. I'm just smart enough that one, I was drove into it, and then two, I stuck with it. And for someone with my arm reach, I'll fight like a smaller man if I have to. Because that would be the smarter way to do things.